enjoying life and going with the flow.
All right, and we are live for the next episode of the Coach Bergen Show, episode 5. And we got our guest today, Brother Bedlam is his IG. I gotta be honest, I don't know his real name yet, but we'll find out together. I wonder if I can invite him from here. Hey. To join. That's cool. It's good to know. That'll be useful in the future for sure. Here we go. We got him.
Hey, there we go.
All right, you got it. Hey.
Yeah, hold on.
What's up?
Sorry.
So, first, what is your name?
Brother Bedlam is my
Brother
name,
Bedlam.
and
Okay.
Breaking It Back is my game, brother.
Awesome. My name is Matt, and this is the Coach Bergen Show, the podcast I've been doing, and this is episode 5 right now. So, you get to be the second pro wrestler who's on here. The last one was Josh Ives, and he is out of Australia. I think that's why I thought you were out of Australia before.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because I've been finding it easier to get responses from people in other countries than from America, which is kind of, so that's just where I thought, UK or Australia or something like that. But anyways, so how did you get started with wrestling?
I mean, like most people in wrestling right now, I was a fan first and foremost. I mean, I still am a fan. But growing as a kid, I was always into pro wrestling. It was always around my household. And then about, I guess like a year and a half ago now, I was living in Philadelphia, and my girlfriend got me, for Christmas, she got me like a beginning session at the Wrestle Factory out in Copley, Pennsylvania. They do different kinds of like training where it's like you can either join their school and be there all the time, or you can kind of test the water and join for like a short like 7-week clip. So I did like the 7 weeks, and I absolutely fell in love, and decided to take the leap instead of sitting on my couch watching wrestling and saying how I could do that. I could do that, no problem. I decided to actually go for it, and yeah, that journey started about a year and a half ago, and it's been pretty awesome since then.
Okay, awesome. So, what's been your favorite match that you've done so far?
Oh, I've had a lot of really great opportunities in a very short period of time. But we just did a show in Pennsylvania for LVAC, the Lehigh Valley Athletic Commission, and a benefit show for the Special Olympics, which was really awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was super cool, and it was done at Freedom High School, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Lehigh Valley, but Freedom High School is where The Rock went to high school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so the building was really historic. The crowd was great, and I got to step in the ring with a lot of great competitors. Some of who are my fellow trainees at the factory, and others who are former trainees and graduates of the Wrestle Factory. So that was pretty awesome. That was a really great time. And then most recently, I mean, I've been wrestling in Portland for Supernova Wrestling, and those matches have been really fun. Those have been a great time. But yeah, the one this past weekend it was special. It was cool to be able to do what I do and also raise money for a great cause.
For sure. So that, you said has been your favorite matchup so far. What is your dream matchup? If you could wrestle anybody from any point in time, who would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Like, I'm trying to avoid looking back at the past because there's so many great wrestlers that are up and coming right now, and I've met so many great men and women and wrestlers in the past year. But one of my all-time favorite wrestlers is Balls Mahoney from ECW, fellow Jersey boy, and just a really amazing wrestler that kind of got saddled with the hardcore gimmick. But I think he would be my dream match. I would love to have gone in the ring with Balls Mahoney. That's off the top of my head. That's the first name that comes to mind.
Okay. What kind of match would you compete in him with? Or what kind of match would it be? Would it be like TLC? Would it be a hardcore match? No rules?
I think that would be everyone's like kind of first inclination because of his reputation. But after watching some interviews with him over the years and like old ECW documentaries, like if you really delve into who he was as a wrestler, that man was also just like actually like a really incredible technical wrestler that cared so much about the business. So I think I would actually love to just have like a straightforward wrestling match.
Okay.
Because I think both of our style, I mean, his style for sure, and the way that I wrestle, even without the chairs and the ladders and tables, is still a brutal style of wrestling. Um, so I think it would still be a really good match without the gimmicks involved.
And then it
But
would,
oh,
yeah, go ahead.
sorry, but speaking of hardcore matches, June 7th in Sellersville, Pennsylvania, I'll be in a hardcore match with my tag team partner. So
Nice,
yeah.
nice. So tell me about that. Who are you competing against?
Me and my tag team partner, Dylan Cross, known as the Gatekeepers for Royalty Wrestling in Sellersville, Pennsylvania, will be taking on a Lehigh Valley legend, if you want, if you will, Havoc, and he's teaming up with a young star up and comer named Davey Huber. And Havoc has just been on my tail for the past couple months at Royalty. We've had a couple spats here and there. We've gone in the ring together, and it's been this back and forth where he kind of got the best of us, we got the best of him. The last match we had ended out in a brawl where this man like literally tried to break my skull with a chain. So this is it. This is the final. This is the final show where no bets. All bets are off. No holds barred. We're gonna get in that ring and we're gonna get business done and make sure that Havoc is no longer and Davey Huber, but mainly Havoc is no longer a problem for me and the Gatekeepers.
Awesome, awesome. That sounds like fun. June 7th.
June in Sellersville, Pennsylvania. If you're not local to the area, no worries. We have a great YouTube channel where we put out really great content, and that match will probably be out within the week after June. So, if you can't be there in person, which I highly recommend, if you're in the area, you can definitely catch you on YouTube and follow us on YouTube and Instagram.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so you said that you were a pro wrestling fan growing up, and you still are. Who was your favorite wrestler growing up?
I mean, I'm a baby of the '90s, so I really kind of came online during the Attitude Era. So my favorite, I mean, from the big company it has always been Steve Austin. I've been a huge fan of the Undertaker. People like I said, Balls Mahoney. I mean, it's always been one of my favorites. You look at guys like Chris Candido, who's another amazing technical wrestler. But my all-time favorite wrestler, bar none, is Bruiser Brody. Um, a man that when I sit down to eat, I still pray to Bruiser Brody for delivering me a delicious meal. And then with some more modern wrestling, like I think Takeshita in AEW is doing amazing things. Claudio is amazing to watch. Um, it just there's a lot. There's a lot of really. It's a really good time to be a wrestling fan and a wrestler because there's just so much talent out there right now.
Mm, for sure, for sure. A lot of up and comers. Um, so what states have you wrestled in?
So today it's only been Pennsylvania and Portland, Maine. At the end of the month, I'll be going to New Jersey, where I'm from, up in Richfield Park for a company called Pro Wrestling Magic. Potentially in June, you'll see me in Michigan as well. That still hammering out the details for that. That's beginning of the month out in Michigan. I will also be in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, with Supernova Wrestling on June 28th. And then July 5th, I'll be in New Hampshire for the first time for Nails and Guts Fest out there. So I've only really been wrestling, taking bookings since I think July or August of last year, and I've been trying to make a dent in some states. So a good number for where we're at right now, but definitely looking to travel and be everywhere that I can be.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Especially you're already going to Canada. It sounds like you're making a lot of progress. Like you're
Yeah,
gonna be
Canada's
international at that point.
yeah.
By definition.
No, it's super. Yeah, it's super cool. It was a very unexpected booking that Adam from Supernova Wrestling really been looking out. They've been bringing me up to Portland, doing great things with me, and they run an annual show in Montreal in conjunction with a couple other promotions up there. So when I got that phone call about that booking, that was super exciting, and being international is pretty awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited for that one.
definitely, definitely. All right. So, how would you say that your character differs from you as a person?
I mean, it doesn't really, right? I mean, it's kind of cliche at this point, but if you look at any kind of great wrestler, they always say that your gimmick is just you turned to 10, 10 to 11. So, I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not out here swinging chains around and beating up strangers on my day-to-day basis.
Okay, I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
No, I mean, you can usually find me at my job baking cookies and serving coffee.
Okay,
Um,
nice, nice.
but yeah, but the attitude, the aggression, the penchant for violence, it is pretty. Like I said, it's rooted in who I am. It's kind of just turned up a notch when I get into that ring. Mostly because like just getting in the ring and getting ready to do battle and hearing the fans, it's hard to not amp it up, you know. Um, but Bedlam's definitely a little bit more on the wild side. Um, I say it's more of a person that I was when I was younger. With a little bit of when I was younger, I had a little bit of less regard for my own well-being and well-being of those around me, um, and so Bedlam, I think, is more rooted in a younger self that doesn't really exist anymore, but it's still there somewhere,
Okay, so how did the name get started? How did you start with that name?
Well, like I said, I've always been a huge fan of Bruiser Brody,
Hmm.
but I wasn't for two reasons. I wasn't gonna hop on like the Brody bandwagon. I wasn't gonna use that, and also because there's already so many other great Brody. You got Brody King, Brody Lee. You got so many other great Brodies in the business right now. I kind of felt like that name was off the table. So when I was like kind of thinking of my shtick and my gimmick, I was like looking at figuring out names, and I came across Johnny K9 from Smoky Mountain, who at one point in time was going by the name of Bruiser Bedlam. And I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty sweet. I like that name a lot. And with the connection to Bruiser Bedlam to Bruiser Brody, I was like, okay, cool. I could take that Bedlam part. That's pretty awesome. And I used that. And then the brother part, unintentionally at the time, I think was like an inside baseball call out to pro wrestling. Because if you've ever been in a pro wrestling locker room or around pro wrestlers, like you'll hear it's just call everyone brother. It's just like kind of part of the business.
Okay.
But also like Brother Bedlam is also a character who is a gimmick who is trying to bring the light to the fans of wrestling and trying to steer them away from the snakes and the serpents. And brother and having the name brother, I think makes it more of like a ubiquitous, like you can be anyone's brother. Bobby Bedlam is a very particular person, or Billy Bedlam, whatever. But Brother Bedlam can be really anyone can relate to having a brother.
Mhm.
So I am
So it's
everyone's
more
brother.
relatable.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, kind of like Brother Devon and the Dudley Boys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone needs a guiding light. Everyone needs a keeper. Everyone needs a brother. So
Hmm. For sure, for sure. All right. So you try to be the guiding light, and then you also were saying that your character is kind of you at when you were younger, not having regard for your well being, times 11. So
yeah, that's definitely a fair summation of yeah.
okay, cool, cool. So what else do you have coming up in your career aside from the hardcore match? Do you have anything else that you're looking forward to, or that you want to promote or shout out?
Yeah, I'm like I said, this month has been jam packed in wrestling. So not this weekend coming up is the first weekend that I'm off in a long time, but May 31st, Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. I'll be teaming up with a new partner for a faction called SAD, Stressed and Depressed, at Pro Wrestling Magic in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. And then once June hits, we're back at it. We're going crazy again. Like I said, June 7th, Royalty Wrestling with the hardcore match. June 14th, I'll be in PPW at the Slayington Farmers Market in Slayington, Pennsylvania, for PPW. The 21st, like I said, I may be in Michigan, still hammering that out. June 28th is Montreal for Supernova Wrestling. And then July 5th is, like I said, New Hampshire. I'll be up there with Nails and Guts Fest. And then there's some other dates coming down the pike. There's some more dates in July that I'm still waiting on details for. There's some dates in August that I'm still waiting on details for. But throughout the entire year, you can see me at PPW. They run one Saturday a month the entire year. All those dates are out on their Facebook page for PPW. I don't have them all off the top of my head, but I will be at every single date for PPW. And then for Royalty Wrestling, they run every other month. We're taking the summer off. So June 7th, like I said earlier, is Bend the Knee. It's kind of like our big blow-off show of the year. And then we'll be taking July and August off, and then be back in September every other month for some really great wrestling in the Lehigh Valley.
Okay. It sounds like almost every week you've got something.
Yeah, right. I mean, right now, that's always been kind of the plan. It's been a really nice surprise. I wasn't planning, or I wasn't expecting to get booked as much as I am this early on, but I'm very excited that I am getting booked as much as I am this early on. And so we're just going to try to keep that momentum going throughout the summer and through the rest of the year. So if you're watching this and you want to book me, Instagram is Brother Bedlam, and then my Gmail is bookbedlampw at gmail.com. So
I'll make sure you're tagged when these get posted.
thanks, appreciate it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. So they'll be able to find you.
There you go.
But, if they were to see it on Spotify or YouTube or whatever, then, it would be good for them to have that. So I'll figure out how to link your Instagram in there, and
Cool.
and then that way they can get to you, because I think that would be another useful thing that I got to be on top of,
Yeah, sweet.
But awesome. So, do you have anything else you want to share about your wrestling career? Any funny stories? Any, adversities you had to overcome?
Um, Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll say, and I think if anyone out there watching this right now is considering pro wrestling, but they think that maybe they missed their chance or they missed their shot, I came to wrestling in a pretty late, in a later stage in my life. I didn't start training until I was 28, which is not very old, but in this game, it's kind
Right.
of it's near the end of what your body can handle. But I'm still doing it. I went for it at 28, and it's going really well at me, really, really well for me at 29. So I would
Perfect.
say if it's something that you want to do and you're interested in doing it and you love it, just go for it. And also, the one thing I will say is that Diamond Dallas Page in his start till he was 32. So if he could do it,
If they can do it, so can you.
exactly.
Awesome. I didn't know that about DDP. He
Yeah,
started at 32.
yeah, super late in the game. Yeah, super late. There's a couple guys like DDP's one of them. And then the Boogeyman, I think, even did, like, he had a tryout when he was like 35, or closer to his 40s. Obviously the Boogeyman shtick is a little bit like easier on the body. But if you've got the drive, you got the passion, you got the love for it. We only live this life one time,
Right.
and you might as well spend it. You might as well spend it going after your passion.
For sure.
So
For sure. Because
Um,
otherwise you're going to live in regret.
100%. Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really important too for young wrestlers is to manage expectations. Like, I've had some really cool opportunities with some bigger companies that I don't, when I say manage expectations, what I mean is at the age that I'm at and the level that I'm at, do I necessarily foresee myself ever getting a WWE contract? Probably not, and that's okay with me. That was something I came to terms with when I started. I just have different goals set for myself with that knowledge. So yeah, I mean, just understand what it is you want to do and what you want to accomplish in this business, and just go for it. And the only thing that's stopping you from doing what you want to do is yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing I want to tell anybody that's thinking about getting into it.
That they can do it too.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
It's not easy. It's there's been times where I've gone off of work at midnight and have made the drive to Portland and slept in my car and wrestled and built the ring and tore down the ring and traveled 6 hours back and went to work the next day. And and you're never really off. You're either sending emails or making promotional material or posting on Instagram or having really great conversations with people like you on podcasts. So the work's never done, but it's something that you want to do. And you can put in the work, then just do it.
Right. All right. So last question I have for you. Is there anything that you wish you did differently in your career, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, I wish I just started earlier.
Okay.
We at the factory we have a really great crop of young students right now, who are like in that prime age, like 18 to 20, who are just now starting, who are doing really incredible things. And so, had I had the gumption, the drive, or the foresight to understand that I could go to wrestling school earlier in my life, that's probably the one thing I would change. But other than that, I'm very happy and very grateful and very excited to be where I am right now.
Okay. So I lied. I want to ask you a couple more questions.
For sure, yeah.
All right.
Please do.
All right. So if you could eat one food the rest of your life and only that one food, what would it be?
That's a tough one.
And it could
I'm
be
such
meal. It doesn't have to be food. It could be meal.
okay, because I'm like really, truly a fat kid at heart, and I like to
Okay.
eat a lot. Oh, that's such a tough one. Lord. You know, my biggest guilty pleasure is Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Like a chicken chalupa supreme. I think I could eat every day of my life I mean, I'd be out of shape, but I'd be very happy.
Okay.
That's yeah. That's like the gross one. I mean, if I'm, yeah, I think that's the answer.
That's your
Unfortunately,
favorite. All right.
yeah.
Cool. All right. And then now this is the last question I want to ask. All right.
All right.
If you could be any animal, what animal would you be?
A raccoon, for sure. I love
Why is that?
raccoons. I just love them. Like they're little people hands and their little robber masks, and I just feel like they're just like fat and hairy and cuddly, and they get into a lot of mischief, and like they're kind of like exploring and rooting around trash, and they come out at night, and they're just like they're always kind of cagey, and like you don't really know what they're doing, and they're just kind of doing their own thing. I've always loved raccoons, and if I could be reincarnated as anything, I would like to be a raccoon.
Okay. All right. That's cool. That's the first time I've ever heard that as an answer. So
There we
awesome.
go. This
That's
is a
awesome.
Coach Bergen
The
exclusive.
Coach Bergen Show. Yeah, an exclusive right here with Brother Bedlam. The first man to want to be reincarnated as a raccoon.
There we go.
To my knowledge, at least. All right, cool. So I will send you links when this is uploaded. And yeah, thank you for making the time today. And we'll definitely keep in touch and, keep following your career as you go.
Sounds good. I really appreciate you all taking time out of your day. It was great chatting with you. And yeah, you know how to reach me, so please do.
Of course.
All right, man.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You as well.